Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am completely obsessed with how these turned out. They look like something you would find in an old scientist collection, but I made them out of using basic craft supplies and even trash. Let me show you how we can create these vintage-inspired specimen slides for your junk journals. The supplies are these little coin holders for collectors. They are super cheap on Amazon. I will link everything below. You're gonna need those. You don't have to have a circle punch, but it will make your life a lot easier if you decide to do these. You can cut out all these little circles by hand, but we're gonna use a punch today. Might use some stamps to do some background stamping. I think my favorite part of this project is that we're able to use some trash. Like, this packaging has the perfect images for using in this project. There's no need for perfection when you're doing background stamping. Just get some ink on that paper. We're going to be cutting little tiny pieces out of this, so you're really not going to see the big picture. Ooh, the back's kind of cool looking. The way that that's come through there. But if I don't like the pattern on the front, we might choose to go with something on the back. So we're going to keep on stamping and playing. And it really is like playing, you guys. I had the most fun with stamping and really with this whole project. I think sometimes when you can just have fun with it and not worry about the imperfections, those projects are the ones that end up being the best. And I do like the script on this side. It might be a little too busy for what we're going to do, so we might abandon this completely. I don't know. I was really trying to bring out the texture in this resume paper. It is so cool, but I was trying to show you here. I don't think you can really see the texture as much as I had hoped, but in a following clip, you'll be able to see it a little bit more once there's more ink on the page. And I know you must be thinking, wow, this is truly a mess. Well, it is a mess, but let me tell you, these little smears ended up being some of my favorite slides. I absolutely love the way that they turned out. So never be afraid just to try new things and to have fun with your projects. Okay guys, we have our paper stamped, and now we're gonna use our circle cutter, or circle punch rather, and we're gonna look and see if we can find some little bits that we would like to use. And it's been a little while since I've done this, so I don't remember which size circle punch works the best. So that's our first order. Let's see. That's our first order of business. So I'm gonna use this one first and find a little piece that I want to chomp. And let's see. This is the 1.25, I believe. And let's see if it fits in our little coin saver. It's a little big, but I do think that this is the one that I used, and I just kind of used my nail to bend it into shape to fit, because I believe the 1.0, let's check out this guy. I believe it's too small. Let's grab another little. Chomp right here. I believe that the 1.0 is too small. We'll be that way. Let's see. Actually, I mean, it fits, but there's definitely there's space in there so that it would move around, which, I mean, it really wouldn't be that big a deal if you wanted to stick a little piece of tape on it and then make it work. But I think what I'm gonna do is go with the larger size. That way it'll be a nice snug fit and it won't easily come out or move around once it's in there. So I think that's what we'll do. I'm gonna go ahead and punch some circles, and then we'll go on to the next step. I just want to thank you guys for being here and for watching my videos. I really appreciate it when you guys support me in that way. My little tiny baby YouTube channel appreciates it. It's so hard to put yourself out there and to start something like YouTube, so I really appreciate it when you guys watch and leave a like or a comment. Okay, now that we have our circles punched, I'm going to take a second and go through and pick out a few of my favorites. There's some really cool ones. On the resume paper, these little lines you see, that's the texture I was talking about earlier. And the ink really picked up on that. I think that's a really cool look. So we're gonna use several of those for sure. Our next step is to cut out these teeny tiny little moths, and that's probably gonna take me a second. So I'll put some music on for you guys and just let you watch me fussy cut for a little bit. It can be so hard to find little butterflies or moths that are tiny enough to fit in these coin savers. So I was so happy when I realized that the back of this Tim Holtz packaging would be perfect for this project. And Tim Holtz does not skimp on his product. Even the packaging is great. These little images are so tiny, but they still have so much detail, and the color is perfect. Do you guys like to fussy cut? I'm just curious. I usually enjoy fussy cutting, but I have to admit these little tiny moths were a little bit of a challenge for me. Let me know in the comments, do you love or hate fussy cutting? Okay, friends, that was only slightly painful. Let me show you. I don't think I realized just how tiny these little guys were until I started trying to cut them out. Can you even, I mean, look how tiny this is. I put it in my tweezers so that I wouldn't lose it, but it is so teeny tiny. Just ignore the ink on my fingers. Look at that thing. I think if I didn't have these tweezers, because these are kind of like the reverse, whenever you squeeze them, they let go. So if I didn't have these to help me to hold these little guys while I was cutting, I don't know if I would have made it. Look how tiny that is. And he's not the only one. There are so many. And I'm happy to report that there was only one casualty or fatality that won't be used. Look at these little guys. Let me see if I can find that teeny tiny one that there he is. I don't know. I think this one's probably even smaller though. Oh no. Come back, little guy. So there's that one and this one that are just so teeny tiny. We're gonna start putting it all together. So here we go. That was way too much ink. That was not what I intended to do there, but that's fine. We're gonna keep going. Everything is fine. All right. And that's what we're working with. I'll go ahead and put this little guy back in his slot. Okay, there we go. Now let's pick a moth. That guy actually looks kind of cute in there. His wings are a little bit too big, but I mean, we could give him a trim. Actually, I like that guy too. All right, let's see. Let's go with this guy. I kind of like him. Do I? I like them all. Okay, that's the problem. All right, we'll pick one. We're just gonna pick one. All right. Let me find some tape. Okay, I'm gonna use this tape. This is actually a little foam tape. It's maybe 1/8 of an inch wide. But I want to raise up our little moth friend down here just a little bit to give it some dimension. And let's see. So we're gonna put the tape on his little body segment right here. Right there. Right here. Why do I have glue on my tweezers? So we're gonna put a tiny, teeny, tiny little piece of tape. That's my cat getting into something that she doesn't need to be into. All right, so we're gonna put a tiny piece of this foam tape right here on his body. We're gonna leave the wings free from the tape so that they can have a little dimension and curve. We're gonna curve those a little bit. And I got this tape. I kind of like this. I got it on Amazon. But you can tear each little strip of tape off if you wanted to, so that it has the backing still on it. And then just cut a little tiny piece. We're gonna peel one side. Grab our handy dandy tweezers and place that right on his body. It's a little too big. I knew it was. Let's fix that. Okay. I'm gonna place that right there. Okay. So we've got our tape down. I'm not gonna peel it yet because we've got a little bit more to do before we stick him down. Then he's gonna go in there like this. And we can play with his little wings to make him fit. But I think he's gonna be just about right. Now, the other thing we could do is add a, y'all, my brain, there's fog. I don't know what's happening, but words are not coming to me like they should. Label. Okay, that's the word I was trying to find just now. We could add a tiny little label down here, and I really like the look of that, so I think I'll grab our labels down and we'll have a peek. Here's my little label box. And these are, oh no, Cindy. These are the Curator ones, the Ephemera Pack Snippets Curator. So they're tiny little labels in here, which is why I wanted to use these. But we're gonna sort through here and see if we can find a little tiny one that we like. I feel like this part is the most fun, when you get to look at all the tiny little details and put it all together and figure out what looks good together. I just love the embellishment part. Hey guys, Editing Cindy is here. I was looking over this video and I was going to delete this portion of the video because I'm basically just being my indecisive self and not knowing what to put with what. So I was going to delete this clip, but then I noticed as I was editing that Lizzie's little paw in the right hand corner up at the top, she's being a little bit of a naughty girl, and I had no idea until I was watching this back today that she was after my ink dauber. Look at that little paw. Look at her. And she got it. Y'all, this cat is too much. I cannot with her. It's so funny that I didn't even notice until right now. Anyway, back to the video. Yes. Look how cute. Oh my gosh. I do love it so much. Aren't these cute? How many times can you say cute in a row? There's one last thing that I like to do though, so let me show you this next part. We're going to take the lid right back off for just a second. How cute is he? Oh, love it. Now, I'm going to use some alcohol ink. So I'm gonna grab those really quick. So we're gonna use these just to make the lid of our little specimen container look a little bit older because it's so clear and pristine right now. So we're gonna use these alcohol inks and hopefully create kind of a cool border and age it a little bit. And this part, I don't know. I feel like even one drop of this is too much. So you can see just a little tiny bit in the tip that came out just then. And I'm just going to touch that to the edge of this and then kind of let it work its way around, because this alcohol ink, like once it hits the plastic or acrylic, it kind of expands on you. Just a little tiny drip does a whole bunch. So that's looking kind of cute. I like that. Let's add a little brown though. That orange is a little bit too bright orange for me. And I think we'll go with the lighter one, the caramel. I think will be good. Let's see. Again, that little tiny bit that stays in the lid is what we're gonna use. We're not like putting a whole drop in there. And then just kind of letting it work its way around the edge there. And I like that a lot better. That really gave it that kind of aged look. Isn't that cool? And alcohol inks dry super fast, so we don't really have to wait any time at all to go ahead and use this. And I love that bit that climbed onto the front of the Specimen container. That looks really cool. So we're gonna go ahead and put the lid on this little guy and call him done. And I think I will put that little spot a little off center, but right at the top so we can see it really well. And then I'm gonna snap him closed and he's done. Let's take a look. Isn't that cute? I love him. So I'm gonna go ahead and create some more. Here we go. I like to create a little assembly line for myself so that I don't have to keep pulling out my alcohol inks and all the different supplies that I use. I can just kind of use them all at the same time, and it makes it a little bit easier for me. But I had so much fun with this, guys. So much fun that I am gonna kind of piggyback off of this idea next week. So if you enjoyed this project, you're definitely gonna want to see next week as well. Okay guys, we're on day 2 of this project. Life happened yesterday. My family came home and things just got busy. So here we are. I have a couple of hours to work on this before I have to go get my daughter from school. I think I'm gonna switch gears though and start working on some clusters. I remember this hole punch being a booger bear, so we might not be using this hole punch. Woo! She's a stout one, that one. I'm not sold on this. Maybe try this size. Yeah, that's better. I think we're gonna go with the smaller one. I grabbed a whole bunch of papers from my scrap bin and used the scraps to make this project. Guys, this is such a good project to use up all of those scraps in your scrap bin. It hardly looks like I touched my scrap bin, however, so maybe I need to work on some more projects with scraps. Anytime I'm making something with layers, I try not to think about it too hard. I'm so indecisive, so I just don't give my brain time to think about anything. And if I do start considering several options after 3 tries, I just pick one, because otherwise I would be here all day long. But I do like to add several elements, like paper elements, the cheesecloth or fabric, and also design tape or washi tape. I decided to add some of that like cheesecloth in there. I think it kind of gives a different feel, a lot more texture. I've got a little bit hanging out, but that's fine. And I thought the 3 little moths together are just the cutest. So there's that one. I love this guy. It's simple but effective, I feel like. Isn't that neat? I like especially the aging that alcohol ink gave this one. That is so neat. And it's also got a little tiny bit of that cheesecloth in there and a little label. I'm so impressed with these little moths and how detailed they are to have been just packaging. I mean, they look really cool. Now, on these ones, I decided to add the little eyelet on the back so that we could hang these like a charm out of a junk journal. And I think that is really cute. And even if you didn't want to hang it, like you could just have that little tab on there to have a little string or something, you know, like, or maybe a piece of ribbon just to add a little something. I don't know. I think it's so cute though. I really like these. That little tiny guy with the bigger label I thought was kind of cool. Little tab on there. I did put some string through this one to kind of give you an idea of what that would look like. But look at that. That background stamping in green plus that kind of aged orange brownish color around the edges with that moth. Good stuff. This one I tried alcohol ink all the way through. So he's transparent. You can actually see behind this one. And I thought that was pretty neat. I regret not making a couple more like this. I will have to go back and do that. But it turned out kind of neat. This one is one of the first ones. It may be the first one that we did, and it's really cool. I love the colors of this moth. I like the little strings coming off of this guy. I can't wait to use these in some projects. Well, this is the larger circle punch. The one that I said we wouldn't use, I ended up really liking it for this. And the backs of these are just plain. So you could like make a little date or a memory on the back of these for your journal keeping. I thought that would be a cute idea too. And here's my favorite one. On this one, I punched a little hole at the bottom so I could add this little charm down there. Isn't that so cute? Oh my gosh, I cannot. Look how sweet. I wish I could show it to you like hanging because it's just so darling. But you get the idea. Oh, it's just too good. I love it too much. If you enjoyed making these specimen slides with me, I've got another project right here that you're going to love. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future tutorials, hauls, and creative ideas. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video.